Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another edition of the Capitol Ballroom Council's 20 Questions. As you can see who we're going to be doing today. Dante, you over on that side?
Yeah, I'm over here. What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's having a great week. We are excited because we are actually interviewing for our 20 Questions segment this evening the legendary overall mother of the house of Miyake-Mugler Exotic. I know quite a few people, everybody's been hitting us up, excited about this interview. So it's going down, and we hope that y'all enjoy it.
Highly requested. All right, so ready to jump into it?
Yes, let's get to it.
Go. Welcome.
Thank you so much, you guys, for having me. I'm super excited about being here today.
Yes, we're excited to have you here.
Absolutely. Are you ready to play 20 questions with us?
I definitely am. I've been warming up for it.
All right. As you know, the questions were randomly chosen. People send us questions all the time. We just randomly pick ones that we're going to ask you. So everything's just random. So just, have fun, answer the question, let people get to know you. All right? All right.
Your granny did not send anything in. She didn't send anything in.
I'm surprised.
All right. So I'll start off with the first question. What made you get into ballroom?
What made me get into ballroom? My first time going to a ball, I was in college. We were in Dallas Pride, me and some friends of mine. And my cousin Patrick, who knew what ballroom was, introduced it to me. And there was a mini ball that they were having in Dallas Pride weekend in 2004. Yeah, 2004. And so we went. I had no clue what it was. It was my first introduction to seeing, voguing and all these different categories. And it says, there's this category called face. You have to walk. So I remember, he said, but you have to put on makeup and stuff. So I put on all this makeup, and we all did. And then we got to the bar that night. They said it was wash face. So he was like, "Oh my God!" So we ran to the restroom and washed everything off really fast in time for the category. And then they called the category. I went out. I had to let a few guys go out first so I could see what to actually do. And then I just kind of, repeated what they did. I'm naturally a dancer, so I could pick up things very easily. So, I just, rubbed my jawline and my nose and smiled. And I got a really good reaction from the crowd. And it's something I didn't expect. And I ended up winning that night. And it was for only $250 to a college kid. That's a lot of money. Back in 2004.
Come on, go to the bathroom, wash my face, and walk and win.
Absolutely. And then after that, I think the mini ball scene started up in Houston. And they had another one for Splash, and I walked that night. And then they just kept it going. So I started walking repetitively, just as a 007. And I joined a small, Kiki house, so to say. It wasn't a raw house, but it was just a few family members. We put together just something for the mini ball scene. And so I just started walking, and then they gave me the title of the face of Texas. Well, it was the face of Houston first, and then they had this kid who was the face of Dallas. And so we battled, and then I beat him, and they started calling me the face of Texas. So it was crazy. And, we thought it was fun. We would watch the videos on YouTube of the actual real ballroom scene on the East Coast and, West Coast and New York, and seeing all the big names, Josh Milan and Zarek and Mike Balenciaga at the time, not me, and Jason and Whitney. And I was just watching amazing, oh my God, these guys, I was super intimidated, even though I always won in the mini ball scene, but seeing it on a mainstream level was really, really intimidating, but it was exciting at the same time. So I ended up coming to Atlanta for MLK weekend, and the story is so funny. I was supposed to become a Milan and I met up with Al, who's my grandpa, and he took me to the Milan's house. And Tony Milan, God rest his soul, said, "No, ma'am."
Oh,
She didn't see it, not her face. She said, "Pretty boy, maybe." And so I took it as shade, and I left and went to Zion's house, which is like my uncle at the time, because I was Al's son. And I told him what had happened, and he was like, "Well, you don't have no business going to no fucking Milan's house, no way. You should have been over there. You know, you don't take my child, you don't take my nephew to no fucking Milan." So it was so funny. And so he said, "You're gonna come to Mugler," and I knew I had heard that before, and from Thaddeus Allure, who had told me years ago when I was doing in the Houston scene that I should be a Mugler. And so I said, "Okay, I'll do it." And I went to the bar that night, and they saw me, and they were just like all huddled up, and I kept feeling like what's this awkward feeling of having all these people that are, super beautiful people just watching you like a hawk, and then getting in this huddle and talking about you. You don't know what's going on, and they come back and say, "Oh, you're in the house." And I was like, "Wow."
oh wow.
So ever since then, that's been the start of my ballroom journey. And you guys remember me walking Harold's ball. It was the Hollywood night
Capitol Awards.
Capitol Awards ball 2008. No, 2000,
I think it was
2008. It was 2008. And Butch Queenface was bringing it as The Last of the Mohicans was the movie. And he had to bring it as Cherokee or American Indian. And so I kept it simple, a little clean, little red feather on the top of my head. Me and a friend of mine who was a drag queen, she's my auntie, name is Dilly. We worked together to create my whole look and made everything out of authentic leather scraps. And, she made the TP for me because she knew how to sew. And it was just a whole fun production. And Ballroom received me very well. I won that night, and it's been a roller coaster ever since then. So a good journey there.
Yeah, because I was definitely gonna say that's when I remember first seeing you was that night at Capitol Awards Ball.
Yeah, that was like 14 years ago. 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh wow, awesome. I think you actually answered our next question. Why do you choose your house?
Oh, yeah. See, I didn't really choose my house. It was kind of like I said, I just walked into. I didn't even choose Milan. I didn't choose anything. I just came to Atlanta, and everybody was just pulling me. Like, you should come here with me. Nobody told me Al didn't tell me where I was going until I got there, and I walked into a house meeting, and I didn't know. I was like, "What's going on?" And I remember Kadan was there, and him and Tony went back and forth arguing about. He felt like Tony was being shady, and he was like, "Tony, you are crazy if you don't get this boy's face." So, but yeah, I was happy with where I ended up. Once I saw who was in the house, and I knew Stasha already, and I knew Zion. I was already, watching Zion. He was one of the people I watched a lot prior to me coming to the scene, so I was already a fan. So, but yeah, but I was happy where I was at.
Awesome. All right, Dante, you want to go take the next question then?
Sure. So, what is your favorite category in the ballroom scene?
I have a couple. My favorite category is sex siren. And part of the reason sex siren is my favorite category because it takes a different level of confidence, not just in your look, but in your overall head to toe appearance and being able to be sexy. That takes another level of confidence that a lot of people just don't have. And to be able to express yourself in, a sexual way and be comfortable in your skin, being openly exposed and, being able to just create a fantasy.
Yeah.
Is something that I've always loved, So I always said if I ever wanted to walk another category, it probably would be that, but I don't think I would end up walking sex siren. But if I would have had like a starter category, been completely oblivious to the scene, it probably would have been that. I don't know. But I enjoy them, and I also love them Queen Face. I like to see the girls get out there and turn it. and the drama and all of that good stuff. And I also love, I do love performance. You know, I'm not gonna lie, we love a good bow down, so a good battle. But yeah, my top two would be From Queen Face and Sex Hour.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, what's a nickname everyone calls you?
David calls me Puddin'. And a lot of the executives in the house, you know, we call each other Murray. So, and Grams, before Grams passed away, he always called me Precious Baby, but he called a lot of people Precious Baby, but all the time Precious Baby. But, hey, Precious Baby, how you doing? I'll be like, oh, fine. But no, that's and that's the name everybody calls me in the house. They call me Ma. They call me Ma. That's pretty much it.
Okay, all right.
And so, what do you like to do in your spare time?
Oh, in my spare time, I like to paint. I'm an artist too. I'm an interior designer for a lot of you guys who don't know. So I go into people's homes and offices and hotels and all that good stuff and turn them out. I make them look beautiful, you know, and make things that are old, new again. I also love to shop. I love accessory shopping for my house, furniture, accessories, artwork. I also like to design custom pillows and custom furniture.
Okay.
And I usually design a piece for each client that I have. So, you know, I end up keeping record of everything. And then in the end, I'm going to be able to put together a furniture line. So, something else I enjoy doing. I love working out. Yeah. And I love traveling. I love the water, being close to water. It's super soothing for me. So, you know, yeah, I love it.
All right, awesome. All right, what is one ball that you lost but felt you should have won, and who do you lose to?
There were actually two balls, but I named one. The Candy World ball for sure. Like that had no business happening, but that to me, I felt like it was set up ahead. It is what it is. Y'all are there that night. I tell you, you saw the
mermaid.
Yeah.
The merman.
Yeah,
the merman. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And Derek Chanel at the time beat me. And I was just like, wow, you know, you kind of saw it happening because they changed the whole entire panel in the middle of the category. After we got 10s, the panel who gave us 10s, they completely wiped them away. And then they went to Grand March. And I was like, why would they cut the Grand March in the middle of the category?
Right.
And then afterwards, they brought a whole nother panel back. And I was just like, wait a minute, something's not right about this. This is a whole new panel, and these judges are not impressed. Of course, they were giving me votes, but they were still like, you know, I was just like, really? Like, what's going on here? But it is what it is. I mean, like I said, it's not always about the trophy. Sometimes it's always about the moment, and the moment left a lasting impression for years and years and years. And I'm still ecstatic. You know, people talk about it, and they actually have categories that were named after that moment. So I was just like, wow, you know, when I see balls in Chicago and the Midwest, you know, happening, and they have, you know, bring it as a mermaid, you know, like, oh wow, like they actually do. That's so cute, you know. I never expected all of that to come just from that night. So,
but that's awesome. That definitely was a moment. Definitely was a moment. All right.
Who are three people from Ballroom you have a crush on?
Y'all are really carrying the question.
Oh, it doesn't have to be.
I would say I don't have any. That's the thing.
So it doesn't have to be a crush. It could be three people that you just think are super attractive.
Okay, super attractive. Kenyan. This is hard.
Canyon.
Who?
Canyon. I was like Canyon.
I'm trying to think of two more people. Oh gosh, this is sad. Okay, it's got to be someone. It's someone out there. I think maybe I just don't know their names.
Okay.
But people I've seen a few people that are super attractive in ballroom. Yeah, I can't fully answer that
It's all
question.
right.
All right. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All right. Is the next question me or you, Dante?
Thank you.
Me. Okay. Of course it is. If you weren't in your current house, what house would you be in?
The House of 007. I would say if I'm not a Mugler, I'm nothing at all. I'm 00 to the day I die.
Okay.
So I think it would be very difficult for me to exist in another house because I was bled into Mugler. So I would feel estranged going into another house.
I can dig that. I can definitely dig that. All right.
What's something in your past that you would change?
Something in my past that I would change. Being afraid to fail would definitely be something I would change. And this is for a lot of people out there. I used to struggle with failure, fear of failure. Move. Sorry, my dog is in the way.
I know how it is.
He's gnawing at my computer cord. But fear of failure was a big thing for me, and that's because my upbringing was very strict. My parents were educators and perfectionists, and they made it seem like, and I don't blame my parents because they just wanted the best for me and wanted me to always do the best and be the best. So they always said, failure is not an option. And if I ever did get anything below a C, my mom would kill me. I mean, not even a C, below a B, she would kill me. So my entire educational career, I only got one C, and I remember begging the teacher to change it, on my hands and knees, crying, begging her until she decided that she would do it. And then she wrote a note next to it that said, "Oh, it's a B. It was a C because he hadn't turned an assignment in, but he got it in at the last minute, so now his grade is a B." My mom was like, that's a C. So give me that television. Give me that TV. Yeah, give me the video games. Give me everything. And here's a stack of paper. I draw, be as creative as you want to be on this paper at this desk in your room for the next 6 weeks until the next report card comes out. It's like,
oh wow.
But like I said, so when it came to failing, I always was afraid of it because I always saw it as such a bad thing. But in actuality, failure is a great thing. It builds character. And it allows you to progress further in life and not actually be afraid of things. See, failure creates fear. So when you look at it in that sense, so if you think there's something you're not gonna do good at, instead of actually doing it and trying it, you shy away from it, and you won't get the experience that you really need to actually progress and actually maybe excel in it. Who knows where I would have been had I taken so many other opportunities that I ran from. So.
Makes sense. Are you a caretaker or like to be taken care of?
I'm a caretaker. Definitely.
We can't hear you, can you?
Sorry. What are your top 3 contending houses right now?
Of course, my daughter, House of Balenciaga. They call themselves the House of Champions, and I love that. You know what I'm saying? The House of Champions. I live for it. And on the floor, the House of West. Definitely the House of West. They're very strong in the scene as well. And West. just another one of those moments. I don't know, third house.
All right.
In terms of top 3 contenders, but definitely House of West, House of Balenciaga, and maybe Ebony.
Okay.
Ebony is a very strong house too. So I would
Have been
definitely say
around for
Ebony.
like ever to still do what they
Eons.
do years later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are definitely the top 3 for me.
Okay.
Bad boy or good guy?
Good guy, definitely a good guy.
Now, are you answering this is for you or which you prefer?
What I'm interested in.
Yes.
Good. I see when I was young, Exotic would have been for the bad boy, but older, more mature, and wise. Exotic is good guy.
Okay.
So I don't have the energy or the time for bad boy anymore.
It's exhausting.
It is. And you realize you wake up and you want more. You want to be
Mm-hmm.
happy,
Yeah.
not on an emotional roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right. If you were filthy rich, what would you do?
If I was filthy rich, I would definitely give back to the community, to the ballroom community. I would definitely have a ball. I probably would put on seminars for people who are recently diagnosed with HIV and AIDS, to help with counseling and also help with medication and care as well. Healthcare, something that is hard to come by these days, and if you do get it, sometimes and make a little bit more than what you're expected to make, it can be very expensive. So that is definitely at the forefront. I also would, definitely would buy myself a nice house, and a nice car. Invest for sure into real estate and stocks and property and all that good stuff, just to keep it, keep it flowing. I wouldn't want it to stop because as fast as it comes, as fast as it goes. So the best thing you could do in that situation is to invest for sure.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
How do you feel about ballroom going mainstream? And also, congratulations to you and your house. Spend $100,000 on Legendary.
Thank you so much. You guys, I can't tell you enough how ecstatic I was about that. It was a beautiful time in my heart to be a Mugler and to be a leader here, and to witness, my kids like going on Legendary, not knowing what would happen, and seeing the journey from start to end, and just being in a moment. Um, how do I feel about ballroom going mainstream? I think it's amazing. Pose is a monumental movement for ballroom culture and LGBT culture. That show opened so many doors for parents to be able to understand and accept their kids, and understand how the world got to see what we go through as people, and the things that we come across and the battles we face. And as crazy as how things were back then, a lot of those things still go on today, and this is probably not as bad, but it still happens. Trans women are still fighting for rights, and there are trans women that are still being slain every year, murdered and mistreated in the community and out of the community. And coming out to your parents are still kicking their kids out of the house and disowning them. And we're still taking them in as houses. As mother, over our mother, I'm mother, I'm father, I'm about a number of different things, mentor, uncle, whatever you name it, that I'm that to my kids, whatever I need to be. And like I said, it still serves its purpose. Legendary, I think, is absolutely amazing. It is not, I think it is ballroom on a different level. It is more performance based and more dance oriented. But when you look at how categories like performance is a house, that's what they're portraying. That's what they're showing every week. It's just performance is the house. So people can say, oh, it's not real ballroom. But we get judged by people, celebrity guests in ballroom as well. And we get judged unfairly. Right. Not only do we get judged, are they judging unfairly? Sometimes we get judged unfairly in our own scene. So, for people to look and say, oh, that's not fair, that's not right, that's not real ballroom. Yes, it is. It's very real, because a lot of those votes that they say were not real and were not accounted for, the same shade is thrown in ballroom from our own peers. So all that, save it. But yeah, I think mainstream ballroom is actually going really, really well. I think the world is excited to see it. People are embracing it. People are wondering about it. A lot of people, that fear of telling guys, "Oh, I'm in ballroom," is gone now, because now the guy's like, "Oh, you're a Mugler. Oh my God, it's so hot. Like I want to be. How do I be a part?" And you'd be like, "What? I never would have thought in a million years you would ever want to be a part of the ballroom scene." But it's not that anymore, so we no longer have to hide in the shadows and hide in the closets.
Yeah, the stigma is gone.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Right. Why do you feel that many of the previous generations no longer participate in ballroom as much as before?
How do I feel that many of the previous generations no longer participate in ballroom as much as before? I think everybody has a time. People run their course in ballroom, and to some extent, they want to support, and make room for the new kids. I feel like if everybody was still competing, we would be at balls a lot longer than 10 to 12 hours. We would be there for 2 days. But I think it's good to actually take a step back and let the younger generation come up and shine. You know what I'm saying? And the 15 years plus years we've been here, maybe if you have not done all you could do, good luck to you. You come back every now and then for like a major category, or for just like a memory night, where they have icon face, or something like that, and break the building up, just enjoy yourself. But coming out for every function and walking, at some point you have to let the younger kids come up and do that. So
Agree. What is one thing that you wish was different in ballroom, and how would you change it?
I wish the politicking was different in ballroom. I definitely wish that everybody was fair. And a lot of times, like how it was back in the day, people didn't care what house you were in. It was about who served it in the name. It wasn't about who my girlfriend is. I could vote over my good girlfriend because she got slayed. There's nothing else nobody can say but girl, you got slayed. You got wore out on the floor tonight, and it is what it is. Come back stronger next time. I think what's going on now actually breaks the real true culture of ballroom, which is to make people work for it. And when people are getting girlfriend votes and they're barely half-assing, they're not working for it. They don't have to come back. They can come now. Their heads get big, and then we go through this whole thing of ballroom builds. You have to tear you down and all of this, but then they build these people up that aren't really doing anything, and then turn around and tear them down at the same time. So, I mean, that goes back to a post that was on Facebook one time. I think Valerie Medina
Nadia
made the post. Nadia made the post and said, ballroom will build you, have to tear you down. And I said, well, I don't believe that. I feel like it to a certain extent that nobody can tear you down. Let's say, I just said nobody can tear you down. It's something I said. It's how I worded it. But it was very meaningful. But if you come with it and you do what you're supposed to do, and you remain humble and a great personality and bring it 100%, 110% every single time, there's no way anybody can tear you down. I'm saying, if you have the attitude and the confidence that ballroom calls for, no one can tear you down. So if someone can tear you down, that means you are lacking confidence in some form or fashion, or that you're lacking the security in some form or fashion. And back then, that's what ballroom is about. It's about building your confidence, building your security in yourself so that you can hit the floor and not care who's on the floor that night and make it happen. You know, we win some, we lose some, but in the end, we're going to come back. It should be a situation where you're like, oh, it's Shay. Oh, I'm not coming back no more. I don't want to walk no more. This isn't for me. Sweetheart, if that's all it takes for you for your exit, then you don't belong here.
Yeah.
You don't get the full understanding of what this is about. So.
Agreed.
Cool.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think that house parents have to start not always telling their kids that everything is shade. And because I think that adds a big-headed part too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, one thing I don't like is a sore loser. Exotic has never been a sore loser ever. So in the few times that I have lost, I took it with a grain of salt and moved on and said, okay, that's what y'all give it tonight? No problem. So next time y'all see me, bet you it's going to be grand prize.
Mm-hmm.
And there were times, like I said, I critique myself. And I always teach my kids to do the same thing. What could you have done better? Or what went wrong in order for this not to be your best night? You know, and I remember one ball I walked in New York, and I remember I lost to Trey. It was the not Landman ball. It was before the House of Landman. They were the
LaCroix? No.
Was it the LaCroix ball? It was in New York.
In New York, Evisu
ball, yes. It was the Evisu ball, and that night I had lost a trade, but I hated my look. I hated my hair. Nothing was coming together. Everything was hard. And I didn't feel my best self. But afterwards, I wasn't upset. I was like, you shouldn't have took your ass out there because you knew you weren't together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's what happens. Next time, come back harder. So.
Is it my go or your go, Kenya?
You want to go?
As a mother, what is most important to you to instill in your children? I think you kind of just actually answered that too. Well, that might not be important, but
it's important for me to instill in my kids that anything in life that they want is attainable, and not to feel like just because of the circumstances that they can't have what they dream to have. I feel like everyone's journey is so unique. And a lot of times we, as in our younger years, feel like we're not where we're supposed to be. We fall into depressions, and that leads to so many different things, drugs, and going to other business avenues that aren't healthy for us. And all because of feeling like you're not where you want to be, and that this is the life that you're doomed to live. And it's not that, you know what I'm saying? I always say you can put your mind to whatever it is that you want to have and whatever it is you want to do. It's all about choices. When you wake up every day, you're blessed with the opportunity to make a choice for yourself. The choice to get up, the choice to fix yourself up, the choice to go out into the world and make things happen. And you don't have to have the perfect start, but you just have to start.
Yes.
Right.
You just have to start. If you never start, nothing will ever happen for you.
Yeah.
And so take that step. Like I have one of my kids now that actually is with me now that is just moving to Atlanta and having a hard time, trying to get where he wants to go. I feel like he's not there yet. And I said, just take the step, take the first step.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get up every day, beat the streets, fill out these applications, to get things going. Something is going to come back to you. And when it does, that's the start of your journey.
Yeah.
And it's going to lead you to the next thing. It's going to lead you to the next thing. And then 10 years from now, you're going to be sitting right where you need to be sitting. And you're going to look back and be like, wow, it's so funny how everything I did connected dots and it landed me where I'm supposed to be. Even there were times where I didn't understand why I was this or why I was that or why I was here and why I was there. But they all added up some kind of way to land me here.
Right.
So pay very close attention to that. Take that to heart. You just take the first step and let it lead you. Don't be afraid. Just keep going.
Love that. Love All right. How is it for you to be one of the few between mothers in the scene? Do you feel like you're respected as other mothers? It's a two-part question.
That's a good question. How does it feel for me to be one of the few Butch Queen mothers in the scene? Actually, I think it's an honor. Knowing the history of my house, a lot of people don't know that the House of Mugler started off as an all Butch Queen house. So we were probably the first house to have a Butch Queen mother. Stacy was the mother at the time. And we had it that way for quite some time. And that was because we didn't have femme queens in the house, female figures in the house. Femme queens in the house at that time. We only had like drags. And that's the way David wanted things, and that was what made the House of Mugler different, to set itself apart. And it was a house of guys, men of beauty and stature and elegance and poise and grace. And I think it is an ode to tradition for my house, which, like I said, is an honor to me. And even more so because there aren't many of us there, but to show that, change is always around. Everything doesn't have to be what people expect things to be. Like a mother doesn't have to be a nurturing spirit, does not have to be a female figure. And one of the people for me is Grams. Is one of the most nurturing people I know. The rest his soul. And I understood why people called him Grams at the time. Not because he represented a grandmother, but because he had a very nurturing spirit that most people only find in like a grandmother. He was all a man. Trust me. Like don't overstep your boundaries. You'll get Eric real fast. But yeah. And do I feel like I'm respected as other mothers? Yeah, I do. And then I also am not one to ever focus on what other people think. That's never been me. It's really more important to me about what my house thinks. My kids, they respect me as the overall mother, and that's all that matters to me. I don't look for the approval of everybody else in ballroom, and but I appreciate the ones that do. And I think a lot of people get caught up in my exterior, and there's a form of masculinity that people have a hard time associating with a mother. So I understand that too, but I just open your eyes a little bit more. It's beyond just the exterior, so.
Awesome.
What legacy do you hope to leave behind long after you're gone to step away from the scene?
I hope to leave a legacy of greatness, and I would love to inspire other face kids or just people in other categories to be the best that they could possibly be. To always put in 110% in whatever they do. Pay attention to the details of everything you do. Everything should be monumental if it pertains to you. Also a legacy of, I guess, being one of the greatest Butch Queen faces to ever live. Let's keep one of them, because I've come behind so many, and so I aspire to just be in the number. So
I think you definitely are.
Yes. And what's one message you would like to give to your fans?
One message I would like to give to my fans is, you guys don't know how much I really appreciate all of the love and the messages and the compliments, and that I get from you guys. And a lot of times, you come up to me, and I know I'm probably not the easiest person to come up to and speak to, because a lot of people are super intimidated because of the way I look. But exotic is not who you think that whole made-up version is. What you see on the floor is just on the floor. That's an alter ego. It's like Beyonce and Sasha Fierce. So, but I am so thankful for all the love and all the messages. If you see me, don't hesitate to speak. I'll always try to, I'll definitely ask your name, who you are, and give you a hug because, you never know what people are going through. And there are times where I was going through things, and there was someone I looked up to and wanted, some type of advice or some type of, just nod of approval to know that I'm not invisible, and there are times, and it happens, you know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We go through these things. We feel these things. And the best thing you can do is make someone else feel important. It's a really powerful thing. So I hope that I come across and make you guys feel important as well. And I would say, whatever you do, keep going, keep rooting for me. I'm gonna keep rooting for you guys. Yeah, so much love.
All right. That was actually our last question. We just went to all 20. Now, we do have one other question we asked everybody.
Your phone breaking.
You want to go and ask that last question, Dante?
Sure. So give us 5 names of people that you would like to see do a 20 questions.
5 names of people I'd like to see do 20 questions that haven't. Let's see.
Yeah, they haven't one yet.
Has Granny done it yet? Granny. Yeah, that's okay.
Raquel, y'all.
Raquel. Stasha.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Y'all already had Harold up here?
Harold hasn't done it yet either.
Yeah, Harold that's up here too. Let me see, from the now walking generation. I would love to see you guys get Yusuf, for sure.
It would be a good one. So I feel like he's so mysterious almost. Like you don't really know much about Yusuf.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yusuf's a big personality, so his interview probably be a lot more fun than mine. So, one more person. Whitney.
Did.
He did it already?
Whitney suggested you.
Yeah, I was gonna say Whitney suggested you.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, Whitney. Has Emery done it yet?
No.
Emery has not done it.
Emery. Mm-hmm. Or I would say Sky too. Well, Emery, yeah.
I put Emery and Sky.
Yeah. So that's my 5. Yeah. Is that 5?
Yeah, that was 5.
That was
5. Almost 6.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
I was gonna say Vanessa Frost too. Did she do it already?
Yeah, we did Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Second one, I think we did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. This is exciting. I really enjoyed myself.
Thank you for participating.
So,